So this is episode 6 of the Music Money Makeover show. Welcome back everybody to yet another week. The last couple weeks I have been going over just tons of parts inside of a publishing deal, right? I thought that I would finally finish it off with a couple small pieces that kind of show up at the bottom end of a publishing deal. All right, so you all don't forget, this is a podcast, even though this is a live stream. This is a podcast, and you can catch this after the show on Spotify, Breaker, Google Podcasts, Anchor, and Radio Public. All right, so check it out there if you want to get the audio version. You know, you're working out and all that stuff like that, but you don't have time to listen to the whole show or watch the whole show. You can check me out there. Let's go over a few things. This is going to be a lengthy show tonight because the stuff that I'm covering tonight is going to be kind of what the exclusive term publishing agreement is. That's kind of the biggest thing. That's at the top of the deal, but I saved it for last because I wanted to dig into the meat of the deal. All right. I'm going to also talk about the consideration. This is the advance, but it's what the advance is put against. So the consideration on the contract, minimum delivery requirements, I touched on that earlier in the week. Writing on assignment, exclusivity, cross-collateralization, and who actually gets the publishing. All right, when we're talking about dealing with collaborations. So some quick things for all of my Atlanta family. I'll be speaking at the Fresh and Local Songwriters Social. All right, this is for all songwriters who are trying to get information on how to handle your business better as a songwriter, maybe get inspiration as a songwriter, hook up with other writers to write with them. This is for you. This is going down September 19th, 2019 at the Ponce City Market in Atlanta, Georgia, 6 to 8 p.m. inside General Assembly. So it's on the second floor on the left-hand side of the building, okay? Also, RSVP for this is free. It's sponsored by Fiverr. So that's the Fresh and Local Songwriter Social event. All right. September 19, 2019. Don't forget, new ebook is coming. All right. New ebook is coming. Music Money Makeover, the setup. Those of you all who gave your emails to receive a free copy of the ebook last week, thank you. You will be getting a copy of that as it is finished and we publish it. And also, for those of you all who want to join the library and put music in the library for television, film, advertisements, and other sync purposes, hit up my website, district24music.com/submit music. That's district24music.com/submit music to have your music in my library to be considered for television, film, advertisement, and whatnot, and when it comes to sync. All right. Also, if you just want to contact me, or if you're a production company seeking music for your productions, you can contact district24music.com/contact and contact me there. Send a message. I'll get it in my inbox and I will respond to it. Okay. And then also, you can follow me at CaseyGraham_24 on Instagram and at District24Music. On Instagram as well, and then LinkedIn and Facebook is just Casey Graham. All right, don't forget, listen to the episode after the show on Spotify. All right, so hey, let's jump into it. Really quickly. So one thing that I've been skipping over for the last couple weeks is the type of agreement that these publishing deals are, and the one that I've been pulling from is called an exclusive term publishing agreement. All right, these are called staff writer agreements for those who don't know. Staff writer agreements are for the publishing company and signing the artist to the publishing company as a work for hire. This type of agreement is used when the publisher wishes to sign up the writer on an exclusive basis. All right, I know some people who actually have this type of deal, and this is for a specified period of time during which the writer is, what's going on Instagram, during which the writer is obligated to turn over to the publisher all songs written by said writer during that period. Okay, so if you follow with me here on this exclusive term, you have a set amount of time in which people actually write within that. So let's say it may be a term for 18 months, and then after the 18 months, it goes for another year, then another year, then another year, right? Those are option periods. But whatever you write in that term belongs to the publishing company. But there's a way that it has to belong to the publishing company. That's why you signed a contract as a staff writer so that you could do your works as a work for hire, all right? And we'll get into how you can get your stuff back, but for right now, this is just a work for hire exclusive term deal. So let's dig into it a little bit, okay? This agreement is somewhat of, like I said, a work for hire agreement in that the writer is under an employment term. That's the reason why at the beginning of the stream I said there's a couple things that I'll have to explain so you understand why it's a work for hire type of agreement here, okay? Last week I stated a little bit of this, but in order for this work for hire to work, the publisher has to put you in their studios, all right? They have to pay for the recording cost. As for you as an employee, they have to provide the materials for you to work. If they don't, then it becomes a song deal. But if they do provide the materials for you to work, then it is now considered a work for hire, okay? Just wanted to clear that up. Make sure you understand that. Now, in addition to that, when you sign or you grant your stuff over to the publisher, okay, they're going to have permission to change the name. And on top of that, they actually have actual permission to do what it is they want to do with who wrote the song. So let's say you write it, but they have permission to go get another writer to make it better, okay? You gave them that permission under this exclusive term deal. Just want to be clear with that, okay? But you can get it back, as I said, maybe 2 weeks ago, you can get your stuff back under a clause called a reversion clause, okay? This is when stuff reverts back to you. And you write in saying, let's say, oh, if I deliver to you what you asked for, but you did not publish it in a set amount of time, then these copyrights can then revert back to me, all right? Reversion clauses are really important for you, the writer. Gotta have that there, okay? It's a must that it's there, all right? So, what does this mean? Once you sign over your compositions as a work for hire, they can do what they choose to with the name, writer, and the title of the work. With the writer, they can they could change it. I'm trying to think of an example of this, because a lot of this stuff that when I do this research, I really dig in deep. So they can take this and they can change it to, let's say, I don't know, if your name is writer A, they could change it to writer A and B or writer C, right? They could do whatever they want for it. This is for exploitation purposes. Now, if you're a popular writer or you got some clout, they're not going to change the name. And this doesn't happen too often. It really doesn't happen at all. It's a little bit of an older type of thing, but it does happen, okay? So let's offset this. For the relationship between a publisher to truly be considered a work made for hire, remember I told you at the beginning of the stream I was going to get into something called consideration. So we're going to get there in a second. So to make this a work for hire, they must exercise a sufficient amount of control, Facebook, over the works that you did. All right, last week I mentioned about the demo recording provisions, and that's what that is. And I stated that, a few minutes ago. That's the leverage that they have. Now, let's jump into the publisher side of the bargain. As a publisher, if you promise to do the task of exploiting the works, I'm talking to all my publishers up here who are trying to get in on publishing. If you promise to do this, right, and you're going to exploit their works, this is just a standard. This is not the deals where you break it out and you say, all right, we're just only going to do syncs. That's a different type of publishing deal. That's only on sync. That's the active side of publishing, getting licenses. I'm not even going to call it syncs anymore. I'm just going to call it licensing. Licensing is totally different from administration. 2 different jobs, 2 different beasts, okay? So if a publisher takes on an all-in publishing deal, they have to offer some consideration for this, okay? And as a publisher, if you promise to do this task, then you must give the consideration for the promise. A promise to pay is kind of flighty. It's illusory, all right? And sure, that'll work. If you're an upstart publishing company, I get it. Sometimes you just don't have the money. But in the United States, it'll hold up. Hey man, look, I'll pay you against future royalties, right? But we won't do it in advance. And some writers, the work that they have, they don't have value on their catalog. It's not worth the advance. But sometimes a little consideration makes the writer feel comfortable working with you, because they know that if you gave them money, then you have something to lose. Okay? This is a full-on publishing deal. Like, I'm not talking about separating everything out. Like, administration won't give you an advance. A sync deal won't give you an advance. Different type, all right? We split the publishing task in half. So when people go get sync deals, you can do your publishing deal a la carte. You may come out cheaper by picking and choosing, what you want to do with your publishing versus going all in on a publishing deal. All right, if you got a little bit of leverage, a big publishing deal may be best for you. Okay. And sometimes for those who want to save money, they split it up, okay? But anywhere else in the world, if you do something like this, at least not in the United States. In the United States, the consideration can be 0. But to be fair, if you put $1 on it and call it consideration, it'll work, all right? But outside, like in the UK, not gonna work. Not happening there. It's not gonna get held up in court. You have to provide consideration for the works that the writer will turn over to you. All right, let's jump to the writer's side of this argument. All right, because you as the writer, you have to come in and you have to secure your end of the deal. Your end of the deal is to meet them with minimum delivery requirements. Okay? If you don't have this, then, as I said last week, you can go into something called suspension. Let's break down the writer's side of the minimum delivery requirement, okay? Check this out. To meet this requirement, the writer must deliver the minimum amount of songs under the period of the term that he or she is in, composed and or written solely by them. This means 100% equals 1 song. So let's explain it. All right, Instagram, let's explain it. So now, if you wrote a song and the producer says, hey, I want 50%, and the writer says, hey, I need 50%, great, everybody's happy. However, that was half a song that you wrote for the publisher. All right, the writer took 50%, you took 50%, okay? That means, but if your deal, let's say if your term, the first 18 months, you had to deliver 6 satisfactory records to the publisher at 100% for a full composition. That means you need to write, if let's say you did 6 songs at 50% for the writer, which it was just, hey, it's just me. Forget everybody else. I wrote the songs and I got 50% of 6 songs. That for your deal, that's only 6 songs. I mean, that's not 6 songs. So you need to double that. So I only gave them 6. I only gave them, I'm trying to give them, okay, I only gave them 6 songs, right, at 50%, which means I need another 6 at 50%. Satisfactory, yeah, the publishing company says, all right, great, I can either place this, it depends on your deal, they can say satisfactory meaning by placing, or satisfactory meaning that this is good enough, we can get this placed, okay? They want to know that they can actually get the songs placed that you wrote. So I wish I had a dry erase board to explain it, all right? So let's say me and you, Eric, right? You produce a record, I wrote the record, you got 50%, I got 50%, we wrote 6 records. We turned it into the publisher, They said, cool. I don't know who this guy Eric is. He's dope. Casey, you only wrote 50% of the 6 records that you gave us. That means we need another 6 records to fulfill your first 18-month minimum delivery requirement. You're not done yet. Go back in the studio and give us 6 more records. Okay? Remember, on top of that, we got consideration. We got an advance. So I like using the default number of 50 grand. All right. It's funny. Like I talked to the producer way back in the day, old school producer that did that record, the South Bronx, the South Bronx, and he was like, "Yo, my first deal was 45 grand, and I signed it away. I didn't know." So that 45, 50 grand thing is still hanging around. And I said, it's the same thing. You know what I mean? So like I said, we have to deliver another 6 records to fulfill our minimum delivery requirement. Now, with the advance, if you don't meet the requirements in the period, then the company may choose to suspend your deal until you catch up, or stack your requirements on top of the next term option. So if the first term had 6 songs at 600%, and the next term has another 6 songs, but we only wrote half of that, right? So technically we wrote 3. That's why I was easy math. I'm just got a little confused. So technically we only wrote 3 songs. I only turned in 3 satisfactory songs, and they need a total of 6 technically, but I need 18. Because it got split in half. Okay? So that's just to get my first one. What if you did everything? If I produced it and I wrote it, well then cool, you only write 6 songs. That's it. Now since you did that, since you said that actually makes me think of another scenario. Let's say, Eric, you're the artist, right? And I produce and write everything. All right? But you come in and you say, hey man, I got an idea on the record. Let's do ba 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 and say ba 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 ba. Well, now Eric needs a percentage. Now that decreased the record. Eric, let's say if you wrote a verse, but I wrote the hook, the second verse, and the bridge. That means my percentage is now decreased. I have not completed one full record at 100%. Let's say, Eric, you take 20, I take 80. I got to make that 20% up on another record somewhere. All right? That's the writer's end of the deal. The publisher's end of the deal was to give you the advance. All right? The consideration. You had to turn in the records. That's what it is. Now, if you don't complete this in that first 18 months or 24 months or 12 months, whatever your first term is, then they'll pile it up on the next term that's coming. So that's why you have to get in the studio and rock, work to fulfill your minimum delivery requirement. All right? Cool. So if anybody has any questions on that, drop it in the comments, because I think that a lot of people don't understand the minimum delivery requirement, and that is a heavy loose end that people don't think about. They only think about the money and paying it back. No, you have to pay the money back, but you pay the money back with the minimum delivery. Okay, so that's how that works. Have any questions? Drop them in the comment section. All right. So I'm gonna jump into this next section, and it's called Seeking Creative Freedom as a Songwriter. Okay. This is another loose end in a publishing deal. It's called writing on assignment. All right. It's a situation where the publisher may try to enact a 360 type of situation on a project. Now, let's break it down on this. This will mainly come up when you're an artist writer, like you're come on. I'm tired of using Neo. I need another artist. Carrie Hilson, she came up in the same camp. I need another artist writer. Any rapper. Any rapper who's an artist. Like J. Cole. J. Cole produces his records and he writes all the records. Not all of them, but mainly on that first album, he pretty much did that. He produced all the records and he wrote all the records. Okay? The publisher may try to do something on a project like where they have no control, so they'll want to use the writer's name and likeness to secure a piece of the copyright for monies and payouts of these jobs that they secure, or for the ones that they actually don't. You know what I'm saying? So they can use your name and likeness for leverage, right? Let me explain it. Okay, so let's say you, and this is writing on assignment, right? Yeah, forever remain broke. Like, you don't have to take like 50 G's, man. Like, you can, there's nothing wrong with hard work and elbow grease at this point. You know what I mean? Like, there's really nothing wrong with it. I think people, they forget that, hey man, you really have to get out there and work. And there's nothing wrong with it, because if you were to start a business like if you were a brick mason or something like that, you'd have to get out and network. Right? Hey, hey, do you need bricks laid on your house? Do you need me to pressure wash it? I'll give you a pressure washer. You got to network. It's the same thing with writing. You know what I'm saying? So let's say for instance, you go and you do a commercial, an advertisement, because this is where the publisher can't really kick in. Because usually with an advertiser, when you do, hey, Eric, this is you right here. All right, but you don't have a publishing deal. But I'm saying if you did, and you did work as an for a commercial, then that money goes to you. Publisher doesn't have anything to do with it. But if you were with the publisher, they try to say, hey, Eric, you know, you're one of our writers and you did do that deal. The reason why is because, you know, let's say you did a commercial for McDonald's. They're going to own the song. Like Justin Timberlake did Ba Da Ba Ba Ba, I'm Loving It. McDonald's owns that. His publishing company does not. I'm quite sure he gets a royalty off of it because they've been using it for so long. Like, that's the longest money right there, right? But the publishing company does not get that. They don't, that doesn't belong to them. It belongs to McDonald's Publishing, McDonald's Records. That's who it belongs to. And the publishing company will say, hey man, you know, that's our writer. We need a piece of that. You know, McDonald's, let's work out this deal. But they're not going, if they didn't get it, they have to step in with you and say, hey, you know, I think you should really pay us some money on that, because you did it under your term. And this mainly works for advertisement, not synchronization placements in a TV show, but like ad campaigns, radio ad campaigns, TV commercials. This is when that kicks in. Writing on assignment, like somebody hires you out, pays you off to do the deal. This is what it is. All right. Now, if the publisher went and got the commercial, and by all means, I think it's fair that we do splits on this. But if they didn't, this is where writing on assignment kicks in. And this is a clause, this is a forgotten loose end in a publishing deal that you need to be aware of, okay? I don't want to act like I'm bashing publishers, because they're helpful. Most artists won't go get out and collect their money. I just want you to understand that these are things you need to be aware of. Because publishers are important. I'm one, but I'm also a producer, so I can see it from both sides. The publishing company has to make money in order to go out, get you placements, go out and, handle your royalty accounting and all this stuff that you're actually not going to do, because the only thing you want to do is focus on being creative. I get it. Publishing deals aren't bad. You just have to be ready for them. They're not always good in every instance, okay? So if I had more hit records, if I went out and I wrote and I got placements on my own on major artists on my own, by this time I may say, hey, you know what? I'm doing a lot of flying around myself. It might be helpful for me to take an advance, and I don't need you to record my demos. I just need some money. All right, I'm an offshoot. Let me step off for a second, because I'm gonna answer my own question with that. As a writer, you can either go do a publishing deal, right? And you take an advance against royalties from songs. That's one way. Or you can go to your PRO and take an advance against your royalties and not have to split anything. The PRO won't give you as big of a check as the publisher, but if you needed a quick $20,000, You could call up BMI, ASCAP, tell them, hey, look, man, I want to take out an advance on my royalties. Can you give me $20,000? This is a no interest loan. You can call up your PRO tomorrow and get a check cleared. Okay? That is true. It's happened to a lot. People do it all the time. Artists do it when they're getting ready to sign a major deal. They'll go to, let's say, hey, look, man, let's go to ASCAP. They're going to give us some money. They'll give us an extra 50 grand against our royalties. If you're just signing, I don't recommend it. I think that's stupid. But if you already have revenue coming in, you already have, you know, they look at your statements and say, okay, you want 20,000, looks good, cool. BMI, ASCAP, it's not a bank, no interest, go in. They'll say, hey man, based off your royalties, we can't give you the 20,000, but we'll give you 7,500. Cool, man, I'll take it. And then you'll hold that 7,500. Be careful, because if you don't have 7,500, you know, if you feel like it's going to take you a minute to make the 7,500 back from BMI and ASCAP, it's not going to be worth it to take the advance. But if you know you can make it back in a quarter, because let's say you're going to get a placement on, I don't know, I'm not going to say Beyonce because she will take her percentage, but I'm going to say a decent artist. Let's say somebody throw one out for me. Somebody that's not as big as Beyonce, but they're decent. Let's say a Kelly Rowland. Let's just go to step down. Let's say if you know you got a single coming out on Kelly Rowland, the contract is done, then I would get an advance at BMI. And say, Fantasia, yeah, cool, right? Fantasia, you know Fantasia is going to do on sales, she'll do about 250,000 on album sales, and then on streams, Fantasia may do another. She will probably rake in dollars on the US side. She'll pull in, I don't know, you know, overall the project will pull in about $1 million for a Fantasia type of artist. She'll pull in $1 million. So what you'll do is you'll say, hey man, look, I can afford that. You'll go to BMI. Hey, look, we just got this contract signed. They're pressing it now. Can I do an advance of 7,500, 20,000, 50? They'll advance you as far as they know they can get it back. I wouldn't go that high, but 20 G's, I'd take that out of BMI ASCAP. No interest. Tomorrow, call them up, call the royalty department, tell them what you got going on, say, can you advance me? And they'll write you a check. It's that simple. Okay? That's the easiest money you can get. It's just you're borrowing against your future. No interest at all. All right. So let's jump back into it. I went off on a long tangent, but I wanted to give you all that information. Just know you can do that. Okay. I mean, in Atlanta, there's a BMI and ASCAP office here. Sad to see the CSAC office in Atlanta closed, but they packed up and moved to Nashville, rightfully so. But Atlanta for ASCAP and BMI is still kicking. For all my Atlanta people, go up there and talk to the Atlanta office down in Buckhead and see what they can do about getting you a check. All right, so anyway, exclusivity, man. This forgotten ends of a publishing deal, loose ends. I'm almost through it. I got a couple things that repeats, but that will repeat. But exclusivity, all right. Different collaborators. What's going on Instagram? Different collaborators may require the publisher to give up some freedom for the sake of the writer writing on projects that will request the full scope of copyrights written by the writer for their productions, like theatrical films or television films and advertisement. This kind of goes with the writing on assignment, but when that happens, this is coming from the publisher's standpoint, and they're gonna have to eventually give some stuff up to make those deals work. Because just like I said, when it came down to the writing on assignment, this goes to that. Okay, the movie company will own your stuff. It does not belong to the publisher. They will put you on assignment. So it's just in addition to that. Okay. Cross-collateralization. I explained this. I think I've been going over cross-collateralization for the last 3 or 4 weeks. Okay. Even in my notes, I got a little exclamation point that says again with this. But anyway, yes. This kicks in again because it has to do with writing on assignment, right? This section that I wrote, you all can see this. I'll post this on Facebook. You'll get all my notes. Don't worry. Seeking creative freedom, all right? Because when I want to go off and I want to write a new McDonald's commercial, I don't want to have to deal with my publisher all the time. I mean, all the time the publisher got to come everywhere I go, all in the videos, all on stage, dance. I don't want to deal with that, right? So cross-collateralization. If you're an artist, writer, or your publisher, if affiliated with your recording company, may try to cross-collateralize your record royalties or payment on your publishing advances. Ooh, this is true, and I'm not blowing smoke. I'm telling you the truth, okay? And Hickey, I cannot inbox you. You can DM me at my DMs, all right? Just to be clear, I'm not going out of my way to DM anybody, but you can DM me. I don't have the time. Anyway, this is heavy stuff right here. How this works. Picture this. You're an artist writer. You're signing a record deal with Sony. I love using Sony all the time, man. Met a lot of good people from Sony ATV last week, from RCA and Sony. Good folks, all right? You know what I'm saying? You don't want P. Diddy all in your publishing. So if you sign a deal, actually, you know what? I did this with I'm not going to say the record company contract, but a couple weeks ago, I kind of explained this. But this is the cross-collateralization can be dangerous if it's not right. Because cross-collateralization can borderline what a 360 is. So if you sign a deal with Sony Records, and then they say in the deal, hey, sign a deal with Sony ATV. We'll give you an additional $5, $6, $7, $8, $10,000 per record to do this. So they'll put the deal together and say that, hey, if you're looking a little light on your publishing side, we'll throw all your advances into one pot, and then that one pot you have to recoup out of all of that, okay? So then they'll take your artist royalties completely away at this point, right? Because your publishing advance got dumped in, your artist advance got dumped in, your recording advance got dumped in, your touring support, your, what else? Promotion budget, your radio budget, all that got dumped into one pot. And now, as you can see, whoever holds the debt can hold it for long enough. This is why I like independent publishers like Pure Music, Pulse Music, all the indie guys out in LA. I love independent publishers because they really work hard on getting the artist the placements. The major labels work hard on getting artist placements, but when you sign with major publishers, they have a long roster, which means if you're not totally working it yourself, then you have to really be in good with the people at the major publisher. Like, you have to come up to that office every other day, every other month. Yo, what's going on? Blah, blah, blah. I'm in the building. Yo, guess who's here? Like, you have to constantly massage your connect at the major publishing house. Nothing wrong with that. You want to do a major publishing deal? Cool. Just know that it takes a lot of boozing and schmoozing. That's what I like. Booze and schmooze. That's what it takes. I would do the same thing at an indie publisher. Okay? But it's a little bit more personal. Like, you don't have 1,800 acts at an indie publisher, because if you have something like 1,800 acts, you start to affiliate with the majors. This is for my publishers who are on the podcast or the live stream, and you want to know. There's a certain threshold that you cross over when you start to actually need the major label affiliation, because the accounting gets unbearable. With that much load, you're going to need some help accounting for all of this stuff, because even at 300 artists, you're going to need an affiliation with a publishing house. But there are smaller publishing houses with something like okay, if someone's on their computer right now, you can go over to Post. I'm gonna do it right now. Go to Post Music. I love them, man. PULS, Post Music Publishing, right? And you'll see the roster. I like all of the rappers and stuff that they have. I'll just name a few. They got Run the Jewels on there, Kevin Abstract, Ty Dolla $ign, Gold Link, a couple people I don't know, James Blake, Kari Foe, Rich the Kid, Drum, Chad Hugo. You know, they have a pick of the litter of people who they represent. They're not representing everybody. This publisher has a sound, and because they represent certain types of artists, they have a network, and these artists can network with each other. This is not a huge roster publishing company, okay? Now, granted, they may be somewhat affiliated with a major, but it's still small. They still you can pick up the phone, they'll know you on a first name basis. But when the publishing company decides to cross-collateralize your stuff, just know all of your advances are going into one pot. And at that point, you might as well make your money on the road or make your money doing something else, because now this is only really for artist writers. This is not for writers, just artist writers, okay? Once that's done. Just like I told you, I think at the top of the year or end of last year, Warner, Elektra, Atlantic, and then Warner Distribution and all that, they merged. And then at the top of August 1st, Sony Music and Sony ATV merged. Like, all the major companies are merging their departments. It's like, once they do that, man, like, your debt can go sky high. You know, so you better have a plan together. You better hope you pop, because if you don't, you know what I'm saying, you out there. All right. And I always got to back it up. I don't like to bash. You got to have a plan ready to go when you sign with the major. Know what you're asking for. Know how much money you need. It's all based on the advance. Don't take too much. Take enough so that you know you need it, and plus a little cushion so that you can actually recoup, man. Don't be greedy. Pigs get fat, hogs get slaughtered. All right. This is the last piece. And I got a lot of notes on this, but this is the last piece. All right, and then we'll jump into some news real quickly, because it's stuff is rolling fast out here in this technology world when it comes to music, and I want folks to understand. All right, so collaborations. Who gets the publishing? If you collaborate with a writer that is under the same publishing company, then it's simple. Everyone can handle the splits in-house. But what if it's not? All right, if the writer collaborates with another writer that is self-published, or let's say the writer is also an artist under the publisher affiliated with the major, or the artist is a major indie artist, then the publisher of the artist will ask for a separate songwriter agreement to cut down on collection headaches. This assignment will more than likely be reassigned to an admin at a major label to an indie publisher with some muscle behind it. I actually was I'm not gonna say I'm involved in a deal like this, but this scenario will happen. Let's say an artist like I'll use a Big Crit rapper for an example. All right, I'll use him. He's independent, totally. Used to be at Def Jam. He did 2 albums at Def Jam. Didn't like it, totally. All right, so his deal would be, his independent company would say, all right, everybody, let's do deals together where we'll take your publishing and we'll handle the administration. Okay? A lot of times it'll work. If you're an indie producer and you don't know much about the business, you're probably going to sign one of these. The reason why an indie artist will want to do a deal like this is because it makes it easier when they're trying to do business. If you're new to the game, you're not doing syncs, you're not doing licensing deals, branding deals with the records, but they need to clear the songs as fast as they can. And with you asking so many questions, trying to be an overnight lawyer, attorney, Googling stuff, it's not going to work. You're just going to hang up the process. That's why a deal like this is done. Well, they'll take your publishing and they'll administrate it, and then they'll pay it out to you. Okay? And then if you're working with the major artists, they're going to do that anyway. All right. Now, you can combat this. Let's say if you got a little pull, you got some leverage, you can say, nah, man, you know what? Let's do this. Solution would be two publishers, that are involved in this will enter into a co-publishing agreement. All right, and that determines the respective rights of the parties in the composition. So let's say, all right, well, no, I'm not going to give you my publishing and let you administer on my behalf. What I will do is we can do a co-publishing deal. I can keep my publishing, you can keep yours, and we'll do it like that. But especially if the writer does not have a publisher, you're signing this deal. Because by the time, while you're working on this release, if they don't give you this contract in time, you're not going to get your stuff together in time. Let's say you're sitting on the couch, you made a beat, and then you're getting ready the artist is getting ready to release. You don't have your publishing company set up. You're signing a deal. Nobody's going to wait on you and hold up the release, or you hanging up stuff because you don't have a publishing company together. This is why this type of deal exists. All right. For organizational purposes. Okay. But if you got, let's say if the rapper is Big Crit, but the producer is DJ Toon, he's gonna be like, nah, man, let's do a co-publishing deal. Because he's been in the business for a minute. He knows what's going on. I know Crit is a major independent artist, but Toon is a Grammy-winning producer. So he's gonna do a co-publishing deal. All right. So at least the songwriter should seek to limit their obligation to using reasonable efforts to secure the publishing of the other writer's share. Because this type of deal just sparks flame, especially the people who don't understand. They'll say, "Oh man, you're trying to take my publishing." No, we just don't have time to wait on you to learn the game. That's what this type of deal secures against. How are royalties shared amongst collaborators? All right. I got this scenario written down so you can find this in the notes. Check it out. Let me read it. Bear with me. Okay. This is a writer-artist. If writer-artist A is in a publishing deal with one writer, B, and B is in a deal and B is in a deal and the other is not, then the works will more than likely be considered a joint work. Last week, we talked about joint works versus divided works. Okay, let me explain to you what a joint work is. Joint works are undivided. That means everybody gets an equal share. Undivided works is a situation where, let's say, the producer will take 50%, this writer will take 12, that writer will take 20, the other one is going to take 24. You know what I'm saying? That's an undivided work. But by default, the artist will have a publishing deal, and in that deal, it'll say, unless otherwise specified, all compositions submitted to the publisher will be undivided. Will be joints, okay? Undivided and joint is the same thing, all right? So you got to specify this. This is where the co-publishing kicks in, because now you want to split it up, okay? But if the major indie artist has a default in the publishing contract, this will apply to you in the song. That's why that artist is supposed to secure songwriter and producer deals with you, okay, in order to clear the record. This is what is the cost of clearing the record, okay? Signing this deal. It keeps confusion out, but for me, if I'm going to do a deal like this, I want to know that administration is tight, that they've had experience with this, that I can see a record of administration being done correctly on their part, or they even have a history in the business so that they can get it done, okay? Or they're affiliated with a major for the administration purposes. I want to know that they can, if they're going to do it themselves, I want to feel comfortable that they can actually administrate. That's me. That's because I know some of you all don't. You may forget it after this podcast, but I would feel comfortable if they knew what they were doing on the administration side, because I don't want my royalties going every which way. Account for them properly. All right. Collaborators should always be given the flexibility to come to a head on splits acceptable among them. All right, man. So we're gonna jump into some news. Just a quick reminder: new ebook is coming soon. If you want to submit some music to me for synchronization placements, go to district24music.com/submit music. Follow me on Instagram at CaseyGraham_24 and District24Music, and on LinkedIn and Facebook, just find me, Casey Graham. And also, if you're in Atlanta, I'll be speaking at the Songwriter Social, Fresh and Local Songwriter Social, Pont City Market, September 19th. 6 to 8 p.m. at the General Assembly store, building, whatever it is. And it's completely free. RSVP, I'll post the link. All right. Sponsored by Fiverr.com. Let's get into some news, man. It's some good stuff going on, but I want to dig in and explain. So let's go here. Actually, I have it right here. Cool. I told you all the story stuff was coming. Like 2 weeks ago, we did Spotify rolls out to Facebook. Okay. Then after that, we have DistroKid rolling out the music to TikTok. All right, TikTok's hottest app going. Then this week, really the day after my last week's show ended, Pandora said, "Hey, our music and you can now share into Instagram stories." This is the new thing. Everybody's sharing music directly into stories functions. That should let you know that posts aren't really that hot no more, and the attention is on stories. I'm getting more views on my stories than I am actually on these posts. Keeping it funky, keeping it all the way real. All right. So that's one hot item right there. I'm gonna say that let me dig into. I don't want to vouch for this app, but I'm gonna say that wave to everybody on Instagram in here. I want to let you all know there's an app that I use called Pocket.com, and it helps me like when I'm working. Like I can listen to all the music business news I want, because sometimes you don't want to read it, but the machine reads it to you, and the voice is pretty good. It's not too computerized. But if you want to stay on top of the music business, go to Pocket.com and then sign up for an account, and then like just if you're on the internet surfing and you want to read an article or know what it's about, but you don't want to read it, just right click it, drop it in your pocket, and then on your phone, on the app, you just hit the headphones button and you listen to the article. That way you can stay abreast on what's going on the music industry. All right, so let's see. Pocket. All right, so that's what it was. Facebook, Instagram dramatically expands music features across Latin America. It's coming to America, folks. All right, like the functionality of music within Facebook is there. It's like a TikTok type of thing that they're gonna put into Facebook. You knew it was coming. Like TikTok started rising too fast. I'm like, wow, this is really going really fast. But now Facebook has launched music on both Facebook and Instagram stories across 15 Latin American countries. And they have it where you can kind of go in and edit the music now into the story, which is pretty cool. Lip sync. They call it lip sync live, but it rivals TikTok. All right, this is reverse. Facebook they're not gonna let TikTok take over. They took over Snapchat, you know what I'm saying? They took over Vine, and you don't think they're gonna take over TikTok? Please, man, come on. It was only a matter of time. So this lip sync function is out there. You can do that now. I think that's pretty cool. I like it because I was like, I don't know if I'm going to sign up for TikTok, but you as a musician should do it. I think it's great. But if they're going to bring this into Instagram and Facebook, it's over. TikTok has to come up with another way to do this. All right? It was Musical.ly, now it's TikTok, but now it's lip sync live. Come on, man. That's what's going down today. All right, you all have to be creative on your promotion when it comes to music. Let me give you some other good things. All right, for those of you all who are a little advanced and you're making product merchandise out there, a little bit of an advice to you: vinyl sales have overtaken CD sales for the first time since 1986. This is good. People are buying vinyl more than CDs because vinyl is a merchandise item. It's more coveted than a CD, right? If you're going to press something, press some vinyl so people can have a keepsake, but make the vinyl special. Don't just press vinyl like, oh, I got vinyl press, come get it, because you have to have something. It has to be special, okay? So just giving you an insight to that. That means that merch, people are appreciating vinyl because it's something they can either put in a frame, put on their wall, or just have as a keepsake. People love vinyl, all right? And then for those of y'all who don't know, Empire Records is expanding. They were started here in Atlanta, and now they're expanding into Nashville. That was just announced. And then also the Clive Davis documentary is coming to Netflix, all right? Apple Music helped produce that, and that is coming to Netflix, all right? I'm trying to think of anything else that happened in the news this week. Oh yeah, BMI claims highest royalty distributions of any music rights organization. It pays out $1.196 billion to songwriters and publishers. I still have to dig into this one. I think this is good, man. This is good stuff. I don't have anything to say about that. That's a little bit more advanced when it comes to what they pay out, so I'm not going to dig into that for the sake of the podcast. That's a little bit more advanced on the business side. But hey, man, I want to talk to you all. You all drop some questions in the comment section. I'm going to stick around for a little bit longer. That is our podcast for tonight. So you can listen to this podcast right after it for as long as it takes Spotify to upload it on Spotify, on Breaker, on Google Podcasts, and Radio Public. Right after the show, you can listen to it there. All right. And one more time, you know I'm in Atlanta, so I will be speaking at Ponce City Market September 19th at the General Assembly, Fresh and Local Songwriter Social. Come get this knowledge live in person. Come meet me in Atlanta, and you meet a lot of other people at this social thing. All right. I'll be there. All right. Also, submit music to me. Submit music to the library for consideration for synchronization purposes and TV, film, advertisement, radio advertisement, and all these things at district24music.com/submit music. All right? Check me out there. And then also, I like to give my shameless but not shameless plugs, because this is the show for music business knowledge. I also want to say this. Follow me on Instagram at CaseyGraham_24 and at District24 Music, and on LinkedIn and Facebook as well, Casey Graham. Okay? And then you all can check for these recaps throughout the week and other things that I post. I'm working on bringing stuff to you all directly, so it's just hardcore, uncut. I should take that back. Doesn't sound right. But I'm working on bringing this all to you in a more direct fashion. That's the right words for it. All right. So anyway, drop some questions in the comment section. I will be here to answer a little bit before the show is over. Any question you have, hey man, like I sold a beat for $20 and I didn't know. What can I do for promo? Anything that you have on your mind that's music related, drop it in the comment section. I'll answer it while we're live and streaming right now. All right, I'll give you all. You all got 4 minutes because I will get off of the stream, man. Shout out to everybody that has joined this stream today. I really appreciate you all coming through. This is the Music Money Makeover podcast, episode 6. Okay, you all have been doing this for a while. I've been doing this. I can't believe it, since July. I started this on a whim. And I didn't know if people would really respond to this show, but they did. And you all said, hey, like, let me get more of it. So I got more coming. Be on the lookout for it. This show will expand. Okay? So just watch the growth, man. It's really going to happen. I'm excited for it. I'm excited for you all learning. And that's what it is. All right, y'all. So it's been real. I'll holler at you all later. This is the Music Money Let me retag that. This is the Music Money Makeover show. I'll holler at you all later. Peace.